welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles.
I'm Jim Hughes, and yes, coming up on this edition of Oxford News This Week, we have an M24 construction update, the Oxford resident pushing for a state house seat, and a new EMT program at the Oxford High School.
All that and more. The Oxford News begins right now. The latest trend on the M24 project is being felt by Oxford residents downtown as the West Burdick intersection at M24 will be closed to allow for total reconstruction of the west half of the intersection. This closure is scheduled to last 2 weeks. During that time of closure, traffic heading east on West Burdick Street will not be able to cross M24. Drivers heading east on West Burdick will not be able to turn right onto M24 to go south. Drivers heading south on M24 will not be able to turn right onto Burdick to head west. The entire project completion is pushed back to be finished in early December. What a surprise.
Yeah, you do a great traffic report there, Clay. The race for Michigan's 46th State House District is heating up right now, shaping out to be one of the more interesting to watch in this election season. Hometown Democratic candidate Jody LaMancha of Oxford challenges incumbent Republican John Riley, who was the first elected back to that position in 2016. So far, LaMancha's campaign has raised more than twice as much money as Riley. According to the post-primary campaign finance statement filed with Michigan's Secretary of State, the district includes Addison, Brandon, Orion, Oxford, and a portion of Oakland Township. It is known to be a reliable Republican stronghold, as the last time a Democrat presented and was represented by Oxford in the state house was when, in 1979, by Alice Tamboulian. I hope I said your name right there, Alice. Terry?
Great news coming from Oxford High School. As many know, it has been a long-standing dream to have an emergency medical technician curriculum available at the high school, and the dream has finally come to fruition. In December of 2019, Lisa Butts, Director of Career-Focused Education, began talks with the Oxford and Addison Fire Departments about creating a new career and technical education program. Butts says the accomplishment will be of great benefit to the students who are looking to enter the health science field and could potentially provide an early entrance into the workforce at completion of the program and their senior year. Addison Township Fire Department's Lieutenant Ben Rice will be the course coordinator, while Oxford Fire Department Sergeant Kelly Kilgore is the lead instructor. Addison Township Fire Department is licensed by the state to teach EMT level education. Congratulations.
In other news, the local contractor is scheduled to spray herbicide on Phragmites growing on the county road right of way located in Oxford Township. Plans may shift as the treatment cannot be done during the rain or high winds. Phragmites is an invasive plant species which can grow up to 15 feet, in which both the County Road Commission and the state of Michigan are on constant campaigns to get rid of from our wetlands. This current work is being done on behalf of the Road Commission for Oakland County and the Oakland County Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area. In 2019, Oakland County CISMA surveyed all county primary, secondary, and all natural beauty roads to determine what right-of-way Phragmites are located in, according to the Road Commission. Herbicides have proven to be the best way to tackle the growth and spread. The contractor that will be performing the Phragmites treatment, had to say that word about 15 times, in Oxford Township, can be contacted with questions about chemical products used and a method of application. For more information, please contact the Road Commission for Oakland County, and that number can be found at 877-858-4804. Let's get rid of them Phragmites now, Terry.
More news out of the school district. Recently, as in-person learning at Oxford Middle School experienced its latest setback due to the coronavirus. Officials announced that the precautionary measures were taken by switching students to remote learning through October. The district worked with the county health department to confirm positive COVID-19 cases. Officials say anyone believed to have close contact with an infected individual will be contacted directly by the Oakland County Health Division. Students asked to be quarantined must be out of school for 14 days since their last exposure to the virus. Anyone who believes that they may have been exposed to COVID-19 should self-monitor for and get tested should symptoms arise. They can develop up to 14 days after exposure to the virus, and individuals who get tested for COVID are encouraged to self-quarantine until test results are received.
Are you craving theater popcorn? Oh, if that's great news, because movie theaters statewide this month are more than 6 months without being on the big screen. If you're wondering what and that looks like, well, the seating capacity in accordance to the CDC and local health department guidelines, reserved seating will automatically space groups apart from each other. Guests are required to wear masks and they may be removed when the guest is seated and enjoying their popcorn and other movie snacks. Also, in great anticipation locally, our own Oxford Hometown Theater will reopen their doors to the public this Friday under the new management ownership. With the pandemic and previous owners filing for bankruptcy, it was uncertain whether the theater would ever open again. But however, a team of investors bought the property, gathered community input, and found out the community was willing and waiting for their movie theater to come back. Terry.
That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or you can go to the Charter Township of Oxford Facebook page, or better yet, catch us on the Charter Channel 191, AT&T Channel 99, or our website at occtv.org. And a big thank you to the Oxford Township Communications and Grant Manager, CJ Carnacchio, as well as the Oxford Leader newspaper for their contributions to our newscast.
Wow, there's a lot of people putting this thing together.
I
learned how to say a new word today too. We should have, like, if you don't know a word, just like put it out there. Today's word is
Phragmites.
You don't even want to know what I called it. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home. We learn new words, and once again, take care of yourselves, take care of those around you, and make sure to wear your mask when you can. We'll see you next week.
And thanks to Alex.
Thank you, Alex, back there for putting up with us. Have a great week, everyone.
I'm Dave Siseski, and this is your Oxford School News. On the heels of the Michigan Athletic High School Association's announcement regarding an increase in fan attendance, we were able to catch up with Athletic Director Jordan Ackerman, who spoke about the change and how the changes this year have impacted student athletes.
Yeah, definitely the most challenging portion of my career, for sure. Everything is nothing's concrete during this time. So we have put plans in place, we've put guidelines in place, especially early on through the pandemic. And as soon as we would get the information out to the public, we would get something from either the governor's office or the MHSA, and we'd have to just pretty much do a 180 and switch everything around. So, that's been very difficult. That's not something that I'm comfortable with. I'm very type A in the things I like to, I'm very organized, and I like to stay on track with, I like to stay ahead in schedules. I like to stay ahead in just organizing our game day workers and officials and everything like that. So when I get knocked on my heels a little bit, that's been challenging, but it's also been a great opportunity for growth in my personal, professional life. So I've definitely been able to adapt, definitely been able to evolve as a professional. So it's helped me a lot in my growth, for sure. Yeah, so there's just been an update to the executive order that's going to allow 30% capacity to outdoor venues here in our region, as well as 20% capacity for indoor venues. So that's definitely going to allow more fans into our gates. How that's going to look, I'm not quite sure yet. We're waiting for some more guidance from the MHSA, and at that point we're going to be able to communicate that information to the general public, and how we can utilize that capacity Again, I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, but we have a couple contingency plans in place that we're ready to work through.
The decision comes on the heels of Governor Gretchen Whitmer's September 25th signing, of which increased the number of people allowed to gather indoors and outdoors, as well as opening of movie theaters and other entertainment venues across the state. Thanks to Jordan Ackerman for the time, and thank you for tuning in. Until next week, that's it for School News. Have a great week, everyone.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Jim Hughes in for Dave Kenny, and here's the story. The National Highway Safety Association opened a preliminary evaluation to assess complaints of fires in certain Chevrolet Volt electric vehicles with one injury. The two complaints surrounded the 2018 and 2019 Volts that alleged caught on fire under the rear seats while parked. In their cases, the fire damage appeared to be concentrated in the battery compartment, burning through the passenger compartment. U.S. safety regulators will evaluate the cause of the fires, as well as the actual scope and frequency and consequence of the alleged defect. With the Volt, the Chevy Volt has served a springboard for General Motors' evolution to all-electric future. The first generation Volt launched in 2016. The automaker sold nearly 6,000 in the United States and up to nearly 18% from the same period a year ago, when it sold nearly 5,000. Electric vehicle fires have been growing concern for the auto industry, and the complaints of the battery-related fires started to stack up, and the ongoing problems of the EV fires comes as automakers prepare to debut 100 electric vehicles in the United States market through 2024. We'll have to keep an eye on that story. That's a short edition of Auto Talk. I'm Jim Hughes, and we'll be right back with more on Oxford News This Week.
My name is Lynn, and I want to star in a movie. Why is that artichoke talking? I'm a pangolin, which basically means my tongue is longer than my body, and I'm pretty much part bowling ball. But the pangolin pièce de résistance? We're the only mammals with scales. Pretty neat, huh? Poachers think so too. You see, people use us for traditional medicine and leather boots. The situation is critical. Averaging about 100,000 goodbyes a year. I have to do something. I have to star in a movie. If I become famous, pangolins will become famous. People will notice us and finally care about us. So guys, help my species become known. In Hollywood, let me star in a movie, please!
Hello everyone, I'm Dave Siseski, and this is your Oxford Sports Update. A week after a dramatic come-from-behind win that included a 12-minute-plus touchdown drive, the Oxford Wildcats were dominated by conference rival West Bloomfield, losing 45-0. The Cats returned home this past Friday to face off with North Farmington, but unfortunately took a tough loss with a final score of 14-3. With the loss, the Wildcats dropped to 2-3 overall. They'll wrap up the regular season this week when they square off with Southfield A&T at 7 p.m. on their home turf on Friday. The Oxford boys soccer season is officially in the books. The Wildcats finished the season with a tough 1-0 loss at the hands of the Royal Oak Ravens. Senior night was celebrated at halftime as the team seniors posed together for one last time and on their home field. That's it for Oxford Sports Update this week. Till next time, have a great week, everyone.
Welcome to Science in the News. I am Jim Hughes in for Dave Kenny. About 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, two old spacecraft may be on a collision course. And if they do hit one another, this could create a spray of debris that would be extremely dangerous for other satellites and could actually set off a chain reaction of collisions. The two objects in danger are the Soviet Paris navigation satellite launched back in 1989 and a Chinese rocket booster launched in 2009. Neither has any method of propulsion on board, so there is no way to steer them away from one another. Nowadays, this is a rare occurrence and typically would have some propulsion on the satellite so that at the end of the mission you would lower the orbit enough so that it will re-enter and fall into the sea and burn up, according to Jonathan McDowell at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center of Astrophysics. But there are plenty of these other objects in orbit with no way to prevent them from smashing into each other. A company that tracks space debris, the two objects will pass within 2 meters of each other on October 16th, and the chance of a collision is higher than 10%. A collision would reduce both spacecraft in clouds of shrapnel hurtling toward orbit and potentially smashing into other satellites. If you have a collision, the debris pieces end up in the elliptical orbits, which they cross a lot of altitude lanes, says McDowell. It is a bit of worrying when you have something like that and doesn't stay safely in its lane. Part of the fear is that the debris cloud like this could set off a scenario known as the Kessler Syndrome, where the debris keeps hitting other satellites and causing more debris in a sort of domino effect of destruction. Close passes like this occur once or twice a year, with actual collisions only happening about once every decade. McDowell estimates, but will continue to launch an ever-increasing number of satellites unless they act. This problem is only going to get worse, he says, if we don't stop adding heaps of space junk to orbit and we don't start cleaning up old messes. Satellite collisions could become a commonplace occurrence.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're